Hey everyone, this is Donna, the Technology and Media Librarian for the Upper Arlington Public Library. Today I'm talking about using PowerPoint 2016 and more specifically some of my favorite tricks to using PowerPoint. This YouTube video would have been our PowerPoint animations course if we had been holding it in person, but I'm just kind of pulling everything down to the essentials to show you my top 10 favorite ways to use PowerPoint. And they're not techniques that are going to make you the flashiest presentation possible, although yes, some of what I'll show you will look really cool. But more importantly, they're shortcuts that can save you time and effort. Lots of presentations will have animations and music and graphics and video and so many different things to catch your eye and to catch the eye of your audience. But I'm really just going to focus on what you can do in PowerPoint to make putting together a presentation easier for yourself. So let's get started. First thing I want to show you is how to duplicate slides. I'm a huge fan of consistency in PowerPoint presentations for a couple of reasons. The first is it just looks cohesive and coherent if all of your slides are modeled on the same template. The second reason is that it's not difficult to put in the content of your presentation when you're not as concerned about making each slide look unique or making each slide look fancy and different. So I duplicate my slides. And here's how it works. What you'll do on the left side of your screen is select the slide that you want to copy. Pick a slide that you know has the text in the right place, the images in the right place, and then right-click on that slide that you want to duplicate. From the shortcut menu, select Duplicate Slide, and that's it. You now have a duplicate of the selected slide right after the first one, and you can make the edits that you need because all of the text boxes and images are in exactly the same place as in the previous slide. It's just waiting for you to change out the text or swap out your images. If your PowerPoint presentation is based on photos, and quite a large number of photos at that, it can seem like a lot of work to create new slides and insert a photo for each of the photos that you plan to present. And that's even if you use the duplicate slides function, it'll still take time. But if you have all the photos that you want to upload in one single folder on your computer, you can use the Insert Photo Album feature to upload those photos in a single batch and generate a PowerPoint presentation around those photos. So I'm starting here with a blank presentation, and what I'll do is go up to the Insert tab and select Photo Album, then New Photo Album from that menu. You'll see a dialog box, and you'll select Insert Picture from File Disk, and then search for the folder that contains your photos. When you locate that folder, open it and select the images in the folder that you want to insert. In my case, I'm just inserting all of these images, so I'll select all and click the Insert button. That puts all of the photos in the same dialog box on your screen, and this is where you decide how to fit them onto your slide and in what order you want to present the photos. You can even see the little image previews on the right of the list. There's even a couple of image editing options, the ability to add captions if you're not fitting the photos to the slide. But once you've made those selections, click Create, and you can see PowerPoint created a brand new presentation, inserted the images, it even inserted a title slide for you. And if you want, you can now make edits to each slide that you need, like adding some captions, adding additional graphics or animations. And then, of course, just make sure that you save this presentation so you don't lose the work. Speaking of pictures that you insert into PowerPoint, the program itself really does have some nice photo editing features available, and that in turn can showcase your presentation very nicely. To illustrate with some stock photos that I've uploaded here, all of which are from Pixabay and which I've linked in the video description below, first you'll just double-click the image that you want to edit, and double-clicking automatically opens the Picture Format tab at the top of your screen. So you do have some abilities like removing the background of a picture with this Remove Background button. That's if you want to cut back on anything distracting in a really busy image, or if you want to overlay one image over another without having this blocky background behind it. Just make sure your image is selected and then click Remove Background. You can also change things like the brightness, sharpness, and even the color on your images. You can click on Corrections and then Picture Corrections options, and you can make your adjustments using the sliders and the presets on the right side of your screen. You can click color and then picture color options. And again, you'll see all of the available adjustments on the right. You can do the same thing for transparency. So you have a lot of photo editing options here. Just remember that for each change that you make, if you're not crazy about what it's doing to the picture, you can go ahead and click the undo button in the quick access toolbar, or even faster, just hit Control Z on your keyboard and that'll undo the previous change. And if at any time you want to revert your picture back to its original state, just click the Reset Picture button. In many cases, you'll also have slides with multiple graphics on them or multiple photos. And in that case, you do probably want your slide photos to look as if you inserted them very thoughtfully and not as if you just put them on the screen wherever. There's a very easy trick to aligning graphics that PowerPoint calls objects, so that they will all line up without your needing to adjust them by hand. So here on my slide, I do have 3 photos that I've uploaded. And once I've uploaded these photos, I can select my images all at once. So I'll click on the first one, and while holding down the Shift key on my keyboard, click on each of the other images, and that'll select them all. And then I'm going to click on the Picture Format tab at the top of my screen. From there, I'm looking for the Align button. And then once I click on that, from that drop-down menu, I will select the alignment I want for these images. So I want them going across the center middle of my screen, so I'll select Align Middle. And then I also want them distributed evenly across the middle of the slide. So I'll select Distribute Horizontally, and that way they're evenly spaced in the middle of the slide. So I'll select that button, and you can see that they're all perfectly aligned, they're all perfectly spaced. But if I start to move around my images or my objects, whatever you want to call them, you'll notice little red lines appear on the slide that will help you align the images yourself. So basically you're snapping them into place in relationship to another object. So if you do want to see what those lines really are on the slide, you'll go up to the View tab and click Show Guides. So that'll give you the horizontal center line and the vertical center line through your slides so you can move and adjust accordingly. And to see all of the grid lines on the slide, click that Show Grid Lines button and you can do the same. I'd say transitions are probably one of the most well-known aspects of PowerPoint. Those little animations between slides, like fading in and out, or wiping, or sliding in from the sides of the screen. I use them here in my videos as well. And while it can be a lot of fun to add a different transition to each slide, if you're again going for consistency and time saving, then the easiest thing you can do is pick one transition and apply it to all of your slides across the board. There's a very quick way of doing that. On the left side of your screen where your slide tiles are listed, click one slide and then click Control A on your keyboard. That's your Select All button. You'll see that all of your slides are highlighted and therefore selected. So we'll go up to the Transitions tab and select one of the available transitions. I'm going to pick the Fade. And what you'll see on the left side of your screen is a star next to each slide, which indicates an animation, in this case a transition, has been applied to each of those slides. Sometimes with your presentations, you do want to include an audio feature where you can play music or a vocal track on one slide or throughout the entire presentation. You can upload music that you've recorded yourself or that you've saved on your computer or external storage, or you can start and insert a new recording directly from PowerPoint. For ease of use and for this video, we're going to assume that you already have a music track or recording saved to your computer. And for my peace of mind, we're going to assume that whatever audio track you use, you have the appropriate rights for, like public domain music or something that you yourself have created. To insert audio, we'll go up to the Insert tab from the slide where you would like your music to play, and then we'll go to Media, and then Audio. We'll click on this drop-down menu, and we want to insert audio from your PC. Now, once your audio file is inserted, you may want it to run throughout the entirety of your presentation. To do that, all you need to do is insert the audio, and then once you do, it'll open a new tab called Audio Playback you'll see at the top of your screen. From there, you can select the button to play all slides, and it will do exactly that. It will make sure that your music or your recording is continuing across all slides of the presentation. And if you want to make sure that your music is just part of the slideshow in general, playing continuously across slides, click the button to play in background. You may also want to include video in your presentation, either to add some dimension or to illustrate an example that you're not able to do in person during your presentation. So just as with audio, you can insert video into your slides, whether that's a video for which you have the file or if you want to show a clip from an online video through a source like YouTube. So if this is a video for which you have the file, you'll click on the Insert tab, we'll go over to Media, and then we'll click on that Video button and Video from My PC. So once you locate the file, you'll click to insert it, and you'll see at the bottom of the PowerPoint screen a little progress bar indicating that PowerPoint is inserting that file. Once your video is inserted, click on the Playback tab at the top of your screen to see your video playback options. For example, having the video play as soon as you advance to the next slide, or having the video play when you click on the slide. You can have your video loop continuously, or you can even have it play full screen automatically. If you ever find yourself in a situation where you need to play a slideshow continuously on a loop, for example, it's playing in the background on a television screen somewhere, for example, you can actually do something called kiosk mode that will allow you to set up a continual slideshow that plays until somebody hits the escape key and stops it. To set up a looping PowerPoint, click the Slideshow tab, then Set Up Slideshow. From the dialog box that appears, select the option that reads Browsed at a Kiosk. Once you select that button, it automatically changes the playback setting to loop continuously until escape. Now, earlier in the video, I very briefly mentioned the quick access toolbar, but one of my favorite tips about the toolbar is that you can customize it. You can see here at the top of the screen that mine has come standard with things like the Save button, the Undo and Redo buttons, and a Start Slide from Beginning button. Now, those may be all you need for your PowerPoint, but if you find yourself wanting some features closer at hand, you can customize the toolbar to add other buttons that will help you use PowerPoint more efficiently and put together slideshows quickly and easily. To customize the toolbar, click the drop-down menu and select More Commands. Then scroll through the commands featured on the left side of the dialog box. And when you see one that will make your life a little easier, for example, if you see a button that would normally be buried somewhere in the ribbon, somewhere in the tabs, and that would force you to click around a lot, click on the Add button. And when you're done adding all of your new commands, click OK. You'll see the new commands in the Quick Access toolbar immediately. And finally, my favorite feature of PowerPoint is the Notes field. Because while we don't want all of our text on the screen for our audience, we do want information for the presenter to be readily accessible. Especially if you're like me and you can never remember what you want to say, a script is really handy when you're talking to an audience. There are a few different ways to add presenter notes to PowerPoint slides in general. The first is to click and drag right below your slide to see the notes area, while you also have the ability to make edits to the slides themselves. You can also click on the View tab and click Notes Page, and this is great if you want to type in your notes after you've already designed your slides. I personally like this option because it's distraction-free. If I can see my slides, I usually want to edit them. And then to get back to your slides, click the Normal button in the View tab. So what should you do with your notes once you have them all available? Well, by default, once you're connected to a monitor and you start your slideshow, PowerPoint will automatically play your slides in presenter mode. That means that you, on your device, can see your slides and your notes simultaneously, so you can really just read as if it were a script. But your audience will only see the slides on the monitor that you're projecting to. Now, I can't demonstrate that here for you because this laptop is not connected to a monitor, but what I can demonstrate is that you can still see your slides in a most traditional way. You can print them. Go to the File button and then Print. In your print settings, click that option for full page slides and instead select Notes Page. You'll see now that your slides will print one slide per page with the notes directly below the slide. And you can even print them, aka save them, directly to PDF. Just change your printer to print to PDF and then name and save your file. And that's it for PowerPoint tips and tricks. As always, I've added links in the description below, so be sure to check those out if you're in need of more information. And our contact information is here on the screen if you have questions, comments, or suggestions for upcoming videos. I'd love to hear from you, and I'd love to hear what you'd like to see in future videos. Thank you so much for watching.